Seahawks Nation, this is not a drill. What's going on? 12s. Victor here, and today we're talking about something that, not too long ago, felt like a Madden fantasy. But now, a big Seattle dream is starting to look very real. An NFL team is in chaos. There's a frustrated superstar, and the Seahawks. We're already a Super Bowl contender. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. This channel is brand new, and we're pushing hard toward 700 subscribers. If you love real Seahawks analysis from a real fan, hit that like button, subscribe, and join Seahawks Nation Update right now. Alright, let's talk about why this situation just changed dramatically. The Raiders are falling apart, and it matters. Let's set the context. The Las Vegas Raiders are currently tied for the worst record in the NFL. Minus 169-point differential, worst in the league, no long-term quarterback. Very few young cornerstone players. This isn't a one-year reset. This is a multi-year rebuild. And that's where Max Crosby comes in. Crosby has always said the right things. Raider for life, loyalty, leadership. The front office said the same. But this season, something shifted. The moment everything changed. Crosby turns 29 before the 2026 season. He's in his prime. He's hyper-competitive, and he wants to win. Then this happened. The Raiders told Crosby they plan to shut him down for the final 2 games because of a knee issue. Crosby did not agree with that decision. The relationship clearly took a hit. For a guy who rarely leaves the field, that matters. This isn't about injury management. This is about direction. And suddenly, the word inevitable doesn't feel crazy anymore. Why Seattle makes too much sense. Let's be clear, every team would want Max Crosby. But Seattle might want him more than anyone. Why? Because Mike Macdonald builds his identity around defense, toughness, relentless effort, versatility, physical dominance. That is Max Crosby's entire personality. Max Crosby is not just a pass rusher. Yes, he's elite off the edge. 69.5 sacks in 110 career games. But that's only part of the story. Led the NFL in tackles for loss in 2022 and 2023. Would likely be leading again this season if not for Myles Garrett's historic year. Plays nearly every snap. Dominant against the run and the pass. This is an every-down wrecking ball. With Crosby, you're not hoping for flashes. He's great on almost every single play. Why the Seahawks need him, even with good edges? Seattle already has talent on the edge. DeMarcus Lawrence, fantastic season, but turns 34 next year. Boy Mafe, free agent, Uchenna Nwosu, and Derek Hall under contract through 2027. Solid players. These are good pieces, but Crosby is different. He's a tone setter, he's a culture changer, he's the guy who fences game plan for every week. What would I cost? Be honest, and do it anyway. Would it be expensive? Absolutely. Seattle has first-round picks available, likely late firsts since we're contenders. That probably means 2 first-rounders, a player like Derek Hall. Maybe some later-round pick swaps. Would John Schneider do it in a heartbeat? Championship windows don't stay open forever. Imagine this defensive front in 2026. Take a second and picture this. Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy 2 inside. Max Crosby and DeMarcus Lawrence on the edge. With Jaron Reed, Riley Mills, Uchenna Nwosu, Connor O'Toole, that is an elite front 4 with 2 of the most intense edge players to ever put on pads. That defense would be violent. That defense would travel. That defense would win playoff games. Don't be shocked if John Schneider makes that call. Lays groundwork for a deal. Helps Vegas rebuild while pushing Seattle over the top. Crosby's contract is actually very reasonable for a superstar. Yes, there would be a bidding war, but Seattle is positioned to strike. Is he the final piece? The Seahawks are already legit contenders, but Max Crosby, that might be the final piece. This isn't desperation. This is championship aggression. So let me ask you 12s. Would you trade multiple first-rounders for Max Crosby? Does this move make Seattle the favorite in the NFC? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. Seahawks Nation, stop what you're doing. This is massive. Victor here, and today we are talking about a move that tells you exactly where this franchise is headed. The Seattle Seahawks just locked up one of the most important players on this entire roster. Charles Cross has signed a 4-year, $104.4 million extension. Let that sink in. This is the largest contract ever given by the Seahawks to a non-quarterback, and it sends a loud, clear message to the rest of the NFL. Seattle is built to win now, and for the long haul. Before we break everything down, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and help us reach our next huge milestone, minus 1,000 subscribers. This channel just started and the 12s are already showing up strong. Alright, let's talk about why this deal matters more than people realize. Charles Cross is officially a franchise left tackle. Let's start with the numbers. For years, $104.4 million. $75 million guaranteed, the most ever guaranteed to any offensive tackle. $40.5 million paid in the first year. $26.1 million per year average. That makes Charles Cross the fourth highest paid left tackle in the entire NFL. And honestly, he earned every single dollar. Consistency, availability, reliability. Since entering the league, Cross has been exactly what Seattle has desperately needed at left tackle for years. Here's the reality. Drafted 9th overall in 2022. Started 62 of 68 possible games. Started all 17 games as a rookie. Missed only 3 games in 2023 due to minor injuries. Played every single game in 2024. Left tackle is one of the hardest jobs in football. And Cross, he's been quietly elite. This is about more than just protection. Let's not overlook how important this is for Seattle's identity. The Seahawks just finished 14-3 and clinched the NFC's top seed. Why? Because this team is built from the trenches out. Locking up Charles Cross means stability on the blind side, protection for the quarterback, a foundation for the run game, long-term offensive continuity. You don't win Super Bowls without elite line play, and Seattle finally understands that. What this says about John Schneider? This move is also huge from a front office perspective. Charles Cross became the first Seahawks player to have his fifth-year option exercised under John Schneider, the most expensive non-QB extension in team history. Schneider isn't hesitating anymore. This is decisive, aggressive roster building, and it's working. The Russell Wilson trade tree continues to pay off. Let's not forget something important. The pick used to draft Charles Cross came from the Russell Wilson trade. Think about that for a second. That trade didn't just reset the franchise, it gave Seattle a franchise left tackle, cap flexibility, a championship caliber roster. That's how you rebuild and contend at the same time. Cross bet on himself and won. One of the coolest details about this story, Charles Cross represented himself. No agent, no middleman, just confidence, preparation, and performance. That tells you a lot about the type of professional he is and why the locker room respects him. The bigger picture, an elite offensive line core. Now zoom out. Seattle has now extended Charles Cross, Abraham Lucas, 3 years, $46 million. In 2025, this front office is clearly building a long-term offensive line core, something Seahawks fans begged for during the Legion of Boom era. This time, they're doing it the right way. What this means going forward, this extension tells us 3 things. 1. Seattle believes Cross is just entering his prime. 2. The window to win is wide open. 3. This team is not afraid to pay elite talent. And when you combine this with a top-seeded NFC team, a dominant defense, smart cap management, you get a franchise that's thinking about February football, not just January. 12s, this is how you win. This isn't just a contract. This is a statement. Charles Cross is your left tackle for the next half-decade. The blind side is secure. The foundation is set. Now, I want to hear from you, 12s. Was this extension worth every dollar? Is Charles Cross already one of the most important players on this roster? Drop your takes in the comments. I read them all. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like, subscribe, and help us hit 1,000 subscribers here on Seahawks Nation Update. I'm Victor. This team is built right, and the future is bright. Go Hawks!